Hey there, it's Katie Jarvis with Managing the Mess. In this video, we're going to talk about non-consumable things within an art room. Now, the reason for this video is I am frequently asked by people who are starting out new art programs, or they received a grant, or their PTA gave them some extra funds, or money somehow just fell down from the sky, and they're trying to figure out how to best use it in their art room. Now, consumable materials are things that you're reordering every year, like paint and paper and glue that your students are using up. Non-consumable things are going to be things that permanently stay in your art room and last, hopefully, for years and years to come. Hey there, if we haven't met before, my name is Katie Jarvis. I'm a K-6 elementary art teacher, and I teach here at a Title I school just outside of Washington, D.C. I've been teaching elementary art for the last 22 years. Since I started my YouTube channel a few years ago, the number one question that I am asked, I'm not even kidding, 5-6 times every single day, is about my drying rack. Now, if you do not have a good one and you get some funds, this is definitely one of my number one picks of things that I would invest in for your art room. The one that I have, I'll be sure to link down below. It was purchased from School Specialty. It's called AWT Racket, heavy duty drying and storage rack. It has 40 different shelves. It really does take a beating when students are opening and closing it themselves. I have been at schools that had much cheaper models or things that weren't really drying racks. We're kind of using as drying racks. So I know to appreciate this, and it's on wheels. You can kind of move it around if need be. It is just one of those things in your art room that, to me, is a must-have. Not a must-have for the art room because there may be one somewhere else in this school you can use, but definitely a nice to have because you're using it all the time, is a really good, very large paper cutter. If you were lucky enough to have the funding available, having a kiln to use is a fantastic experience for your students. It is one of those things that they're going to remember making clay projects in art for the rest of their lives. Now, the model that I recommend is any type of front-loading model because you can just open it up like a refrigerator. You don't have to lean into the kiln like the other kiln that I have. What happens in that type of model of a kiln is it gets rusty over time, and then you're leaning in there, you're getting, like, your clothes get dirty, they're snagging on the edges of the kiln. It's really hot also in that kiln because you're kind of like going inside there. You feel like you're burning your eyebrows off when you're taking stuff in and out. This one cools off, I feel like, a lot faster because each shelf is getting some cold air once you open this up in the morning to cool things off. And it's really just very simple to use. This model, I can link it down below. It's Century 2.0. It's a digital model, so I just kind of really set it and forget it. Setting it up either for a bisque firing or a glaze firing each day, and then it's ready to go. If you do invest in a kiln, make sure that you're looking at some of my other videos about kilns. There are many other things that you'll need to purchase: a fire extinguisher, the correct plug, an outlet so that you can use your kiln, a ventilation system, oven gloves to use with your kiln when you're taking items in and out of the kiln. You'll also need stands to put underneath your clay project so that they don't stick to the kiln. You will need little shelves that go inside of your kiln, as well as stilts and stands that will go and hold up those shelves in your kiln. You can see the shelves inside of this kiln to see what I'm talking about there. You'd also need a product called Kiln Wash. That's something that you probably can just buy once and put that on your kiln shelves and then be good to go. But there are many things you need to think about besides just the actual kiln before you start firing. You're going to want to get yourself one of these. This is a multi-slab clay cutter, and I'm going to insert some B-roll here of me using this. It is such a lifesaver. You're able to cut like 20 pieces of clay. They're exactly the same at the same time. What I do is I put Dollar Tree cutting boards. They're just like little plastic mats between each of the slabs, and then I put them in Rubbermaid bins with some wet paper towels and a lid on it, and it will easily last me for a week once I prepared them. So I don't have to do it just like the night before. I can even do it several days ahead of time and things are good to go. I haven't seen these in any art supply catalogs or on Amazon yet, but you definitely can find them at local clay companies. What you want to search for is multi-slab cutting tool, and they only run about $30, so it's something that is a really good, inexpensive investment compared to some of the other items in this video. Another great investment for your art room with all the drawing that happens is an electric pencil sharpener. Now, I keep mine on top of this filing cabinet because I don't allow students to use it. That's part of the reason why it's lasted me for 5 years. I also don't let colored pencils even look at my pencil sharpener because colored pencils often will void the warranty that's available on the pencil sharpener. So I only use that for my, yellow Ticonderoga pencils, and I use it myself, but something definitely to have within your art room. A tool that I use every day when I am teaching art is a voice amplifier. Now, I do have one with a speaker system built in that already was here at my school, but they have portable models where you just clip the little microphone on your jewelry or somewhere on your shirt, and you're able to turn it on and off and adjust the volume. I don't use this to talk over my students, but I use it when they really need to focus in on what I'm saying and to listen. I've got a whole video about how not to lose your voice as an art teacher, especially if you're watching this and you're thinking about the beginning of the school year. That has been an issue for me in the past because you do really use your voice a lot in those first few weeks when you're narrating everything that is happening. I'm a huge fan of using technology in the art room. If you don't have a projector and you can get someone to invest in that for you, if you have the funds available, having technology in the art room, I think, is a huge asset for teaching students today. I really enjoy having a projector, and mine is just a projector. This is just a regular wipe off board, and I can still interact with it as if it is a smart board. Another tool that I know many art teachers use is a document camera, and that can be something that's worth investing in for your demos. I do keep mine not on my desk because I don't tend to use it quite often. I use my iPhone a lot, and I create videos for my students that show the steps, so I'm not doing live demos, but they are able to see my process. That way I don't have to redo the demo every week and do it every class and from year to year. I can just simply show it up on my screen. I can be setting out the materials. I can be watching the students' reaction and understanding while they're watching my video. Yet another helpful tool for the art room is a really sturdy, safe step stool. I love this model because it is on wheels. You can drag it all around the school, especially if you're an art teacher that has an art show. Also, as you are climbing up to put things on the walls, you can lose your balance. You can kind of catch yourself. I know I have a time or two using this handle, so this is a great model. A couple of other smaller items that you might be able to squeeze into your regular order that are non-consumable is a hot glue gun. Now, I don't use these with students because I do teach just K through 6. The model that I like is from SureBonder, and getting one that is cordless will change your life. Every once in a while, you do have to put it back on the base to get it reheated up, but it does last for a couple minutes not on the base, and it makes your job just that much easier. Another tool that was new to me this year that I've had so much fun with is these electric scissors. Now, I have used these for cutting burlap when I did sewing. I also use this for cutting snowflakes, the snowflakes where you take 8 like lunch sacks and you glue them together. So this was able to cut through 8 lunch sacks at the same time. Some other tools that I don't have yet, but they're on my wish list, is a double-sided, I guess you call it like a tape gun. So you can basically just kind of like press down and the double-sided tape will come off. I feel like, I don't know how I've been putting together my all-skill murals without that tool. Keep seeing teachers on Instagram have that. The other thing is those electric scissors, they're pretty good for cutting cardboard, but there are tools that are specifically electric cardboard cutting tools. So I'm a little bit curious about that. Might add that to my wish list as well. Might be something that you want to consider. Definitely not a have to have, but kind of nice to have, is these no spill water cups. I just love them because the bottom is a little bit bigger. There are ridges for students to wipe off their brushes. They're very durable. I've had these ones for years. Every school I've ever been at, I have sought these out. I believe the brand is Creativity Street, and I will link those definitely in the description down below. Whenever I personally have any extra funding, I like to invest in paintbrushes. I love the quality of the Royal Langnickel paintbrushes. I feel like I have every color and every size that they possibly make. I break down all the paintbrushes that I do have in a video called Managing the Paint, if you want any more information about that. If you've received a lot of fines or you're just starting out in a new art room, definitely invest in storage. I love these portfolio drawers. I set up one for each grade level, and then I put the materials that we are using that week inside. I think in my classroom, I have like 5 of these in total. I just absolutely love them. You're also going to want a spot where you're going to store student artwork. That's something to think about when you're purchasing furniture. I'm going to throw these in the non-consumable category as well. These are reusable little jars with a paintbrush built right into the lids. So you pour Elmer's glue in there, and then there's like a little nail polish brush that students use. You do have to teach the students how to use these, but I just use these with kindergartners, and they still look pretty good. What I've done is every time that I refill them, I use petroleum jelly and put it around the rim so that they're easy for the kids to open and close. I think if you didn't do that, they'd kind of get crusty and gross and be a little bit more difficult, especially for the younger students to open on their own. I also thought of some everyday kind of items as an art teacher that we use. Tape dispensers, and really heavy duty ones are the best. Staplers, a really nice stapler, especially if you're using this to hang up artwork, is going to change your life. The one that I like is from Swingline. It is this red model because it's easy to find amongst all the mess on your desk. You can kind of guide somebody else. Hey, yeah, it's on my desk. It's red. Go get it. If a student is wanting to borrow it or another staff member is asking to use it. I also love to have a couple pairs of really good teacher scissors in my room. I like these Fisters easy action ones that they just spring open, so you're not putting your hands in them and hurting your hands when you're doing a lot of cutting. I just want to be really open with you. In this video, up until this point, I've showed you things that are owned by my school. That means my school paid for it. When I leave someday, my school gets to keep those things. Now I'm going to show you things that I personally have invested in by choice over time for my art room. So if I leave someday, these items are coming with me. I'm not saying that you need to make the same investment in your art room, or these are things that you have to have your first year of teaching. Trust me, I didn't have any of this my first year. It's just something that I have accumulated in and invested in over time. My first year of teaching, most of my storage were these really nice tomato boxes that my dad was so nice and brought home from work, and my mom helped me spray paint them different colors so they looked a little bit cuter. So don't feel like you have to go out and spend all the money. Some things I get from the Dollar Tree. I try to focus in on items even from the Dollar Tree that are non-consumable so I can keep using them again and again, and I avoid buying things with my own money that are consumable, because if I start buying something like paper, then I'm buying that for the next 30 years. That's a lot of my money. Buying something like these little plastic table buckets that I've been using for 10 years as trash containers, that's a little bit different to me. I have gone away from buying so many containers from the Dollar Tree because I found over time, especially this paper size container, I would buy them at the beginning of the year from Dollar Tree, and by the end of the year, they'd be broken. So I did invest in quite a bit of containers from Lakeshore Learning, which is a teacher store. We have an in-person store here in Northern Virginia, but it is an online website that you can purchase things from. Really high quality, I mean, really expensive products, I'm going to be honest, but like it's a teacher's paradise. I also own like all of the rainbow drawers. I see them and I just throw my money at this. I use these though every day to store my current resources that I'm using with students and like my handouts and my exit tickets. I also store my art support reports in here. This is a little note that I give to each classroom teacher at the end of art. I have a copy of this over on my Teachers Pay Teachers if you want to see that. But since I use it every day, I like it here close to my desk. I recently got these little tiny rainbow containers. I'm still labeling them, but they're going to be table containers of markers. So these are those like ultra fine point Sharpies that I'm only allowing my 5th and 6th grade students to use. So these nice little containers just make it a little bit more fun. I definitely like teaching is a bit of a hobby to me. So investing in some of these things is okay with me. But definitely a personal choice, not something I'm trying to push on you. Another thing that I use every single day, so I feel like it's been worth its weight, is this $12, I think, slides remote that I got on Amazon. I'll link that down below, but that's something that's really good to have. A little bell or a chime. I mean, people are probably watching this that are not teachers and being like, what? Those things weren't in your room? No, none of these things are in your room when you start out. Sometimes you're lucky if there is a teacher scissors or a stapler in the room when you start out. I think having different kinds of timers. This one I use when kids take a break, but I have a timer that I use every day. I have a smaller timer that I got from Lakeshore Learning that I use if we have to have like 5 minutes of silent art. So it's kind of a separate timer. But I think those tools help make my job a little bit easier, makes it a little bit nicer for me to do my job. So that's why I have chosen to purchase them.
You